Today I'm going to talk about everyday detox, because really detoxification and fitness, wellness, sex, having babies, whatever you want to do with your life, it's about how electrified you are. How powerful is your electrical system? Now, I want you to raise your hand if you think that you are superconducting, that your electrical system is just on fire. It's just, yeah? Okay, good. And raise your hand if you'd like to improve it just a bit. Okay, well, let's work on that, okay? And you guys have worksheets, so just know that right now I'm preparing you to do your worksheets, to make your plan on how to become a superconducting human being, because that's what we're all going for. So, oh yeah, I was waiting for someone to change my slide. I forgot I'm the one who's doing it. So yeah, this is our detoxification center, and the whole program is right here in front of you, from the fitness side to the raw foods to the ice bathing. Has anybody here ever done ice bathing? Yeah? So you know what superconducting is if you've done ice baths. From using the ground to capture energy from the ground. But I'm going to show you how you guys can do this every day starting today. Because in the end, from this point on, as you plan your nutritional programs, as you plan your workouts, as you plan everything that you do in life, what you want to do is catch the electrons. From here on today, your job is to become an electron catcher. Do you guys remember the word electrons from school? Yeah? So we'll just call electrons little pieces of energy. So I'm going to tell you how to be more magnetic for catching electrons and how to insulate your electricity so you hold on to the electricity you have. So step one, if you want to catch an electron, you got to have a battery in your body. Now, in the cell phone, what is it that actually holds the charge in the cell phone? Is it lithium? Is it lithium in the back? Does anybody actually know this? Yeah, it's lithium, okay? So in your body, what holds your charge, what your battery is vitamin D. Vitamin D. Now, it's kind of sad that so many people are scared of the sun nowadays, because I'm sure you all know that your collagen actually produces vitamin D, and it produces it in the face of sunlight. So if you're one of these people who's avoiding the sun, you're not getting your battery. You're not collecting your battery. So from here on in, you've got to embrace the sun. I'm not saying to get a sunburn. I'm just saying to get out and get some rays anytime you can. And if you accidentally do get a sunburn, I'll tell you a little tip that I learned from a neurosurgeon. Use DHEA cream. Have you ever heard of DHEA? So DHEA cream is something that neurosurgeons or surgeons will put on a wound to protect, to make you heal better. So if you actually do get a sunburn, put some DHEA cream on your sunburn. DHEA is also a hormone that will really improve your immunity. So it's a very healthy hormone. Actually, if you want to test your immunity, you would actually test for vitamin D and DHEA levels. So if you ever go to your doctor and you just want to see how is your immune system, how is your detoxification system, ask them to do a DHEA test or a vitamin D test. And that will show you also the importance of vitamin D. It's the amount of vitamin D you have in your system is really is a judge, I should say, of the quality of your immune system. So, sun is very important, but, there's a ray from the sun that's actually quite healing. It's the far infrared ray. Has anyone ever done a far infrared sauna here? So, you have one? You have one at home? Yeah, well, these things are amazing because they're like $150 on Amazon. They're portable. You can collapse it. You can travel with it in a little tiny suitcase. And it allows you to kind of take a shower from the inside out. And the far infrared saunas are a very healing sauna. Most detoxification centers have them. Infrared is a healing wavelength from the sun, but you can bring it into your home. How much did I say it was on Amazon? $150. It's so worth it. So that's an aspect of sunlight that you can bring into your home through technology. Also, I suggest looking at morning sunrises and looking at evening sunsets. This alone will change your life. You will be a sunnier person. You will be more magnetic. I suggest as soon as you can, say, you know what, I'm gonna make a day where I'm gonna look at the sunrise in the morning, and I'm gonna look at the look at the sunrise in the morning, look at the sunset at night. And I want you to rate yourself how magnetic you are, how much synchronicities in your life. Because you'll see when you do just this one little hack, to look at morning sunsets, look at morning sunrises and look at the sunset in the evening, you will find yourself so much more magnetic and happier. Has anyone ever done that? And did you notice that you're a little bit happier, a little more magnetic? Yeah? And it also will reduce your cravings because it actually is a method of feeding the body electric. The next thing is ground yourself. Have you guys all heard of the grounding movement? Everybody's talking about getting grounded. So, it's funny that we have a grounding movement now because it's so important to just being human. Just like the plant is grounded to the ground all the time and pulling energy from the ground, you can do that too. And you can walk barefoot, but I know that it's not so easy to walk barefoot. Anybody in here, is it difficult for you to walk barefoot? Does anybody live in a city or in a cold area? It's hard to walk barefoot. But whenever you can, walk barefoot. If you live in a city and you can't get barefoot, you want to work on finding some grounding shoes. Grounding shoes allow you to be grounded to the earth. They have little pieces of copper wiring in it. Has anyone ever seen grounding shoes? So you could also have shoes without any synthetic materials. These would be grounding shoes. You can make them yourself. Now, I'm going to put a little booklet on the tribe's Facebook page, on the Awesomeness Facebook page. It's a pretty big book, and I will have resources for everything I talk about, and if I suggest a protocol, the protocols will be in there. And I have a few pages on how to wire up your own shoes, how to throw a piece of copper wire around your shoes so that you're grounded to the Earth's magnetic field, and you can actually pull electricity from the ground. And, we're going to talk about raw foods. We have to talk about, is anybody here into raw foods? Yeah? Okay, great. So, as I just mentioned, I said grounding is so important because you can pull electricity from the earth. And that's what plants do all day long. They're pulling electricity from the earth. They're actually pulling the sunlight's electricity. And then you can cut the plant, you can eat it, and you can benefit from that electricity. So why would you cook it? When you cook it, you lose all that great electricity. And so that's what the power is behind the raw food movement. That's why people are getting so excited about raw food cuisine. And raw cuisine's fun. You can have raw soups. This is our detox center. We do a lot of fun things with raw foods. We have raw Mexican food, tacos, raw pizza. Can you see the pizza up there? Raw spaghetti, raw violi, raw lasagna. That's right there in the middle. Raw samosas. So, raw sushi. And in the booklet that I'm giving you on the AFES page, I'll have a ton of really great recipes in there so you can start on raw foods. Yeah, and of course the raw desserts are super famous. We have raw chocolate cakes, raw ice cream sandwiches. But even better than raw is food that's still growing. Sprouts. Does anybody here like sprouts? Yeah? Does anybody here grow your own? Does anyone grow sprouts? So growing sprouts in your kitchen is a way to feed the body electric every day. It's like growing energy in your kitchen. It's like little bottles of detoxification. And all the really great detox centers, raw living foods and sprouts are right at the heart of their detox protocol. But in the booklet that I'm giving you, I'll have all kinds of instructions and tips on growing sprouts in your kitchen. You can buy them at the grocery store, but growing them in your kitchen just takes minutes. It's so easy to grow sprouts. And this is the part where people are going to fight with me a little bit. It's like some people have fear of sunlight, some people have fear of fat. Does anybody here have fear of fat, like oils such as coconut oil and olive oil? Somebody have fear of olive oil? You have fear of oil? Okay, yeah, lots of people do. They're just not admitting it. But if you really want to feed the body of electric, you got to get on a good gasoline. Now, some of you guys, I'm going to describe what it's like to be a carb burner. Now, probably almost everybody in here is a carb burner, meaning that's your source of making ATP. Do you remember this word from high school biology or college biology called ATP? It's the gasoline of our cells, ATP. Raise your hand if you remember this word. Okay, good, good. Good. So ATP, the gasoline of your cells. So this is a little picture from a high school textbook. It's like an ATP maker. It kind of is a funny little cartoon of how we make gasoline. Now, when you make ATP, if you use oil, you produce an enormous amount of ATP, just like we use oil for a car. But if you're on a carbohydrate-based diet, even if that's fruit, that could be whole wheat bread, it could be brown rice, it could be quinoa, it could be amazing whole foods, but it's a less premium source of fuel because carbohydrates don't produce that much fuel. Carbohydrates only produce a quarter of the amount of ATP as fat does. So, and when I say fat, I'm talking about, I'm suggesting coconut oil, I'm suggesting olive oil, I'm suggesting really good quality oils. Now, where your life is really going to change is when you get over, like, when you try to move to becoming a fat burner instead of a carb burner. So let me describe the day in a life of a carb burner. A carb burner, even a super healthy carb burner, may get up in the morning, have some beautiful cereal like a muesli, some fruit on top of it. Then by 11 o'clock, the carb burner is just a little bit hungry because, as I mentioned, carbs are not an efficient source of ATP. Carbs don't make much ATP. So you basically have that beautiful muesli cereal with beautiful fruit on it, but by 11, you've burned through all the ATP because it just, as I said, carbs just makes a little bit of ATP. So at 11, you're kind of hungry. Then at 12, you eat lunch with your friends. Maybe you have some brown rice or quinoa or whole wheat bread on a sandwich. Then by 3, you might feel a bit hungry again, kind of want a snack. And then at 6, 6:30, 7, you're really ready to eat and have a big dinner. And then maybe even a snack. This is madness. This is crazy. If you fueled your car on carbohydrates, you'd have to stop at the end of every block to refuel. And that's why people are just eating all day long. So what I want you to do is I want you to try an experiment when you go home. I'm putting a recipe in the book of a high protein, it's actually a vegan protein shake with lots of coconut oil. And you're going to make that in the morning one morning. Just go crazy on it. Just drink as much as you want and drink water through the rest of the day. And you're going to see my Facebook page because I'm writing on the Awesomeness Fest page. And I want you to find me on Facebook and I want you to tell me what time you got hungry. Okay? So you're going to have this shake. It's a vegan protein. All the recipe will be in the book and coconut oil. Or you can just go home and just grab any vegan protein, some water, some maybe stevia sweetener, which is it's more like an herb. It doesn't actually have sugars in it. And coconut oil. You're going to really fill it up with coconut oil. You're going to drink that in the morning as much as you want. Maybe drink it at 8 o'clock. And if you've had enough fat and protein for breakfast, you should not be hungry until about 4 or 5. If you're hungry before then you need to go back and have more protein and more fat in the morning. Now, it's not that I want you to fast every day. I just want you to learn how to set up your day so that you're not running around chasing food all the time every time you run out of ATP. So, will you guys do that? Will you guys test yourself one day? Yeah, and you won't be hungry, I promise. Just load up on that shake in the morning. Now, it's quite important that you recharge your battery, that, once you've actually used up your ATP at the end of the day and you've used up your electrons at the end of the day, that you can go into the deepest stage of sleep. And to do this, at about 6:30 at night, the sun goes down, and this is when your sleep hormone, melatonin, should start to rise. It takes 4 hours for melatonin to rise to such a threshold that will put you to sleep and carry you through the night into the deepest stages of sleep. And when you're in the deepest stages of sleep, this is when you recover your energy. This is when you repair. This is when you anti-age. This is when you detox. And this is when you lose weight. If you don't go into the deepest stages of sleep, you don't lose weight no matter what diet you're on. So sleep is important, but if you're blasting the lights and the TV in your house at night, the melatonin doesn't know that it has to rise. So you might be waiting right till you fall asleep, and you haven't given your body the 4 hours for the melatonin to rise. So I suggest when you get home, outfit your house with amber bulbs, because the amber bulbs are kind of the color of candles or fireplace, so that the melatonin can begin to rise. And if you're using computers at night like I do, or you're using your device at night, download a free app called Flux. Flux is a free app that will turn your screen amber so that your melatonin will continue to rise. And I put these little amber glasses because if you have some crazy roommates or family that have the lights on at night and lots of TV, you might want to have some amber bulbs to, again, allow your melatonin to rise. And conversely, when you wake up in the morning, you want the wake-up hormone, which is cortisol. Now, some people know cortisol can be negative if you have too much cortisol, but you do need a certain amount to wake up. And you can do that by going outside and looking in the sunlight. So the first thing you want to do in the morning is to look at the sunlight so that your wake-up hormone begins to rise. The supplement that you can get if you eat enough seafood or if you eat enough seaweeds, I'm a vegetarian, so I have to get this from seaweeds, is omega-3s. Now, omega-3s look a bit like this. They're kind of a fat, but they actually catch electrons. That's like an electron levitating over the omega-3 oils. So I want you to imagine omega-3s as like covering your body with electricity catchers. Really. And if you ask anybody who formulates supplements, this will be the #1 supplement they recommend. This is the #1 supplement associated with longevity and anti-aging is omega-3s. Have you guys heard of omega-3s or DHEA? This is a healthy crowd because most people will be like, no, I never heard of it. Really, most people have not heard of it, so this is a healthy crowd. So, load up on your omega-3s. As a vegetarian, I use flaxseed oil, I use seaweed products, but, if you're eating, you want to eat fatty seafoods. If you're actually eating seafood, you want to go for a fatty seafood because they're quite high in omega-3s. And if you're going to all this trouble to catch electricity, you want to insulate it. And I think this is kind of my photo, a picture I found that I thought looks like insulation. This is what iodine does for your system. Iodine, again, comes from any kind of sea products, whether it's seaweed or seafoods. You can take iodine, but it's not as good as if you get it from natural food sources. But iodine is like insulating all the energy on your body. So you definitely want to insulate. Important things. So now that we've worked on catching electricity here, there, and everywhere, you want the electricity to flow efficiently and at high speeds through the body. You want to superconduct. If you superconduct, you don't want fluoride in your life. You need to get rid of the fluoride toothpaste. You need to avoid fluoridated water. Fluoride is an impediment to conductivity. It's an impediment to superconductivity. It's an impurity. So, I recommend you get spring water whenever you can. You get reverse osmosis water. You can order it to your home, or you can get a reverse osmosis filtration system. But these are the only sources I know of non-fluoridated water. Unfortunately, most governments are putting fluoride in the water. And if you want to induce detoxification, you want to choose forms of exercise that induce detoxification. Detox happens when you sleep. Detoxification happens when you fast. If you want to increase the amount of detoxification that you have in your life, or repair, or rejuvenation, you want to, when you're healthy, I suggest intermittent fasting to bring more, to induce detoxification. So what this would mean is have your last dinner one day at like 5:30 or 6, nothing after that. And the next morning, don't have anything till 12 o'clock, just lots of water. This will allow you to have more repair time. It'll extend the repair, the recovery, the detoxification that happens in sleep if you choose a day or two a week to have a longer fast, meaning, again, last meal, last bit of food at 6 o'clock or 5 if you can do that, and then nothing except water till the next day at 12. But you also want to choose exercise that induces detoxification. Not all exercise induces induces detoxification. High intensity interval training induces detoxification. Something like Tabata induces detoxification. Any kind of 30 seconds on, 10 seconds off at high intensity will induce detoxification. Hot yoga. Does anybody here like hot yoga? Hot yoga definitely induces detoxification. If anybody wants the science behind this, I would love to tell you, because it'll make you so much more motivated to do these kinds of exercise if you understand the science behind it. And lastly, now that you've got the whole plan in place, now that you are packed with energy, now that you're an energy, you're just that you can grab energy from anywhere because you're covered with you're covered with fish oils or omega-3s, and you've got the iodine insulating your system, and you've got the fluoride out of your life so that you can be superconductive. Now's the time to make the magic happen, and the magic happens in an ice bath. Yes, when you go into an ice bath, you go into a superconductive state. Now, if you've ever been into an ice bath, you know every single part of you, it gets really, really super contracted, and you get super, super, super cold. And when that happens, you lose the resistance. And that's what superconductivity is. Superconductivity means lack of resistance to the flow of energy. So lack of resistance to the flow of energy. When you go do an ice bath, suddenly that energy can just conduct. It can get from here to there, everywhere. And if you want to measure how superconductive you are, check out your quality of your orgasms and your erections. That's a biomarker of superconductivity. So in the booklet I'm giving you, I have several pages on how to bring ice bathing in your life, how to do it in your own bathtub, and how to do it step by step safely. This will change your life. This is a game changer. So, and you'll look like these superconducting beings. And one of these superconducting beings is here in the room. She's a Mind Valley employee. See if you can find her. She did some ice bathing at Phuket Cleanse. I don't see her. Oh, I see her. And she inspired this cartoon character. And this is somebody else in the room. So this is what you'll look like when you're a superconductive being. And I thank you, and I look forward to meeting all of you and answering any questions you have.